me walking. I know I'm doing another random live stream, right? And I'm gonna start scheduling them because I do want a lot of people to hear when something hits me in the spirit. I know it's for somebody. And so I'm going to start scheduling too, so that way I can kind of create some kind of announcement and have you guys tune in ready to receive. All right. So I'm walking these trails out here in these Atlanta streets. So I hope you saw the first live. I talked about 50-year-olds and over utilizing YouTube to be a blessing. Which way do I want to walk? Because I can go either way. I think I'm going to go this way. To be a blessing to other people using your skills, knowledge, talent, wisdom, story, testimony, right? But right now, I'm going to share a little bit of my testimony, hoping that it'll help somebody else. So I titled this, I believe I put From Homeless to Purpose. From homeless or homelessness to purpose. So quick story. I was married for about 10 years. Got a divorce. I'll share the more details on another video. I've shared some, and of course when I'm working with clients or sometime in my groups, I'll talk about, more in more detail. Went through a divorce. I had a daughter from their marriage. Beautiful young lady. She's grown now. She's an adult. And me and her dad are cool. We went through our emotional time when it was just, but through it all, we maintained a good co-parenting relationship. Thank God. And I did marry somebody who have a level head, and he's emotionally regulated enough to want what was best for actually both of us, my daughter and our daughter and I. So I didn't have any type of I had some drama, other kind of drama, but not that kind. Nothing abusive, nothing aggressive, like in that nature. Anyway, so now I'm struggling. I moved out. This is kind of shaking because I'm kind of walking. I should have had a selfie stick. Okay, so naturally we was renting a house together. He moved to another country. I could not afford that place by myself. So I moved, and actually he helped me move into my own apartment. I had a 1-bedroom apartment. And so it was me and my daughter and our daughter. There was some ups and downs. And when we did split, I didn't have a high school diploma because I dropped out of school in the 10th grade. And most of the work that I did was hair, because I actually went to cosmetology school when I was 18, but I didn't finish. But I always loved doing hair. I'm very artistic. I'm very creative. And I used to do a lot of people around in the neighborhood, their hair and everything. And that's how I made little change. So I realized even back then that I had an entrepreneurial spirit, but I did not know that. I didn't really hear that word a lot because I grew up in the projects, right, in Brooklyn, New York. I didn't know who I was. I have a video on that. I got that from, Mary J. Blige. It was just some kind of event they had with a lot of ladies talking about their story, and she was saying if she knew who she was, my God, she wouldn't have let people take advantage of her. But anyway, I didn't realize that I was an entrepreneur back then, because I was always inventive, always thinking of ways to make extra money. So I used to do hair around the projects and beyond, and in school. I'm doing hair in junior high school, and high school I dropped out of 10th grade, so I don't do anybody's hair in high school, but around the neighborhood I did, right? So anyway, that's how I made my little hustles, make a little money here and there. I was a dropout. So I worked in the salons, in and out salons, and I actually did, hair on the side. So I always did something kind of mobile, right? Because, I'm trying to keep all my money, right? I don't want to leave the important parts of the story out. So, no high school diploma. I worked at a few jobs here and there. Always feeling limited, right? Because I couldn't get jobs I really wanted because I didn't have a high school diploma. And I remember back then, which a lot of people did, those of us who dropped out, we would lie on our job applications and say, yes, I finished high school. Especially if it's a type of job, they don't do a background check. Things are different today. But anyway, I got tired of doing it. I was like, I'm tired of doing this. I'm tired of having to lie on my job application, and I felt limitless. I always felt like inside I did have greatness inside of me, but I didn't know again how to pull it out. And so I felt like I'm starting from scratch, right? So now that's giving you some history. So now I'm living by myself, taking care of my daughter. Then I had to stop working for like full-time jobs because when we split, I was actually in cosmetology school. So I went back and I graduated and I finished with some good grades. So now I'm a licensed cosmetologist. So even before that, I was working in salons. Again, I was hustling. I was working in salons and I had clients coming to my house. And sometimes I made some real good money, $200 and $300 something dollars per head, because I used to do a lot of braids and weaves, and I was that girl. I was the braid and the weave girl, right? But still, it's inconsistent. Anybody who works in a clientele based business or service or company, your money's based on the clientele, and that can go up and down. So anyway, so it's a struggle. So I remember even working at a school cafeteria. I was like, oh my God, and they didn't pay nothing. I think it was like $120 a week. So my check was like 300 and change, I remember, every 2 weeks. I lived in New York City. That is not going to do anything. The only thing that helped me get along was because I did hair on the side. Thank God I learned how to hustle. um, Things got rough for me. My daughter stayed in that one-bedroom apartment. I always felt like I wanted to go back to school. My fear was math. I didn't have a literacy problem. I was always very good at reading. I was good at had good vocabulary. Don't sound like it today, right? but but still, there was a fear there, and it seemed like it was so far-fetched. School seemed like it was so in the distance. It's like, am I ever really going to be able to go to school and then go to college? It just seems like I don't know. So I noticed that I had a gift of counseling, a gift of being able to develop rapport with people. The reasons why I said it was a gift, because I would just have these instances where people just come to me, strangers. I could be at a bus stop and people just start coming to me, sharing their trauma and their stories. And they said it was something about me that made them feel comfortable where they can share it. I'm like, you see that on me? That was awesome. And I started seeing God using me in church. So that's a whole nother story. So then I decided, you know what? I would love to go to school for counseling. Again, I got to get over this fear of math. Oh my gosh. So I know I had to go back and get my GED. I did take a GED class when I was married, but I finished that course, but I didn't do well. I didn't even take the test because the teacher, his language, it was a language barrier. I hardly understood anything he said. So I'm sitting there feeling like I'm in a Charlie Brown cartoon. It's like, wah, 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 wah. And I was like, okay, this ain't gonna work. Got a certification and everything of completion. So I'm still without the GED. So now I'm thinking about my life. I gotta make more money. I'm working in the school cafeteria. I'm making $320, $40, $50 something dollars every 2 weeks. Something got to give. So let me see. I started working. Okay, I was working in the school cafeteria. Thank God, at the church that I became a member of in New York, we had an after-school program. No, I'm sorry. Let me back up. I started working in the daycare nursery, the private school that my daughter was going to. So I worked there for about a year, maybe a little bit over a year. Then I got blessed with a job at my church, because we go to a big church. We had an after-school program. I was asked to be a assistant director. So now that's elevation for me. I'm like, okay, almost like, wow, oh my God. I always was good with children, right? People trust me with kids and that nurturing spirit. So I worked there for 10 years. While I worked there, I went through so many different changes. It was still a struggle for me. So remember, the floor in my kitchen caved in. In the one-bedroom apartment, the floor caved in. So now the landlord said, I have to serve notice on you, right? Because we can't keep you in here. We get in trouble, and that's not good for you and your daughter. Because the kitchen floor, you can see downstairs. During this time, I was laid off from the daycare because the budget was low, because there was a low enrollment. Let me sit down for a minute while I'm taking this trail walk. There was low enrollment. Let me get to the story, right? So now I'm stuck. I applied for unemployment. While I was unemployment, this is the blessing. Well, okay, let me back up a little bit. Oh, Lord have mercy. I should have prepared my little story, right? Um, I needed a place to stay. I had to move out immediately. I had to move out of the apartment. So, the good thing is, I had linked up with another church that I would fellowship with in the afternoon. And I started ministering out there and doing outreach. And I started doing Bible study for this church. It was an outreach ministry. They had transitional housing for men and for women. So again, simultaneously, God was using me. And I started ministering to them in the men's house. They had a sanctuary in every house. I would go there some Sundays and alternate between the women's transitional housing and the men's. And I would minister. I would do Bible study. Then I started doing men's night Bible study and women's night Bible study. So God was using me spiritually, but he was working out all of my stuff. I'm telling you, it just was so awesome. When I look back at it now, it's like a movie. Because I linked up with that church and connected with them, we became good friends. The pastor, the bishop and his wife, came and helped me move out. They brought some of the men from the church. They helped me pack up that apartment. Let me tell you something. When you stay focused and you keep God in the forefront of everything you do, he will work all things out for your good, because the Bible says he works out the good and the bad. The good and the bad are working together for the good for those who love the Lord and who are called according to his purpose. And so I was like, so I saw the Lord's hand in the midst of it. So this is all by faith. And I think I put in the title, By Faith, okay? Who's here? This before I go on. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Hello, hello, hello. What am I talking about? Quinn. Hey. I think Riyadh is in here. Then I see Edie or Eddie, because I have a friend named Edie. She spelled it the same way. So I think it says Eddie, though. Can't see the picture really good. Oh, I like that, Holy Mindset TV. I'm sharing my testimony. I'm talking about my story of going from homeless to purpose. So these next couple of days, I'm going to be really focused on inspiring and motivating you guys who've been sitting down on something. You got a gift for talent. You got an idea, something that's lying dormant, and it's time for you to push it out and do this. But utilize YouTube to do this, whether you call to mentor, to minister, to start a business, to speak to the masses, whatever it is. I left my water in the car. And that's popcorn that I had. So I'm sharing my story to hopefully inspire somebody, that you never know what people going through. You look at people and think, oh my God, they got all this going on. You don't know what people been through. Oh my God. So anyway, struggling, not making a lot of money, laid off. I said, what I saw was the opportunity to go back and try for my GED again. Is what I did, because on unemployment, usually when you go to the unemployment office, they got all these programs. They have a whole bulletin board with all kinds of different resources, computer classes, GED. I said, okay, God, I felt God saying, this is the time. So I enrolled in a GED class while I'm collecting unemployment. And then, you always got to every week let them know what jobs you've been looking for. I did that. I signed up. Took the class, had a wonderful teacher named Mr. Cruz. I would never forget him. Hispanic. Awesome, nice. He was very caring and nurturing and patient. I remember him having a lot of kids too. He was married with a lot of kids. I'm talking about like 10 or 12. I can't even remember. He had a lot. Anyway, we all loved him. Took the test. Not took the test. Finished the course. Went to take the first part of the test. The test was broken up in 2 days. I took the first day of the test. And then the second day to go back, I got there a little too late. Oh my God, let me tell you something. Talking to one of my best friends, she lived next door, but I am standing outside her apartment waiting for a ride. I had a ride to pick me up. I didn't have a car back then. Or I had a car, but it wasn't working. So I was taking a taxi. Now, I got there in enough time before they started taking the test. There was 2 security guards. I remember a man and a woman. And the man wanted to let me down. He said they did not start the test yet. They still have the doors open. So this is upstairs in the school. The test was given at a school. But the lady security guard was like, nope, it's too late, whatever. Guys, I felt defeated. I started walking down the street, just crying. It felt like I just had sheets of tears coming down my face, crying, and like, oh my God, I felt defeated again. I felt like every time I tried to do something else come along, like something was trying to stop me. I finally feel like I'm getting ahead, and then this happened. And I would just remember walking down the street. If anybody from New York, I was walking down Jamaica Avenue, in the Richmond Hill area. There's the train trestle above, the E train, the A train, the E train. It was the E train, sorry, the E and the J train. I felt so, because I had to take the train to go back home. I just felt defeated that day. I felt like, am I ever going to get this high school diploma? It felt like that was a barrier that was blocking me from going to school and going to college and doing other things I wanted to do besides hair. I went back to school. I got the cosmetology license. That was awesome. I graduated this time, so I overcame that. So I'm feeling good. I'm feeling encouraged. But let me tell you something. It was something else. Anyway, I kept working. I started working at the after school program now. Like I said, for 10 years. But during those 10 years, God is so good. I had to move out. I told you guys I was packing up. The pastor, the bishop, and church members moved me into the transitional house that we had, the church had. I said, God, you're so good. Look how you set this up. You knew that this would happen to me, and me and my daughter would need a place to stay. I thank God that he didn't allow us. Everybody have their own journey. Some people got a story of homelessness where they had to sleep on the street. Now, leading up to that, I was sleeping on, no, I was in and out. I stayed at the church, at the transitional housing. But I also had friends who sometimes would let me sleep on their couch because they live closer to where I work. Excuse me, guys. And so we sleeping on friends' couches, staying at the transitional house, staying in the church, in one of the offices. I had my bed set up because I had a really big, I had a full of queen size. I think it was a full size mattress bed. I had a whole canopy bed, but so we stayed in there. It was very tight. It was an office. There's enough room to walk around the bed. I had a dresser in there. It was real tight. But you know what? My mindset was like, I'm not going to focus on where I am right now because I had a vision. And the Bible says without a vision, people perish. So because I had a vision, that it gave me some motivation and it gave me a goal, something to reach toward. Like I understood and felt like this was temporary. And one of the things I used to say, and this too shall pass. And this too shall pass. I kept saying it and declaring it. And I said, no weapon formed against me shall be able to prosper. I just started speaking the word of God. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So I'm in the word. I'm doing positive affirmations. So I'm not looking at where I am. I'm looking at where I'm going. And again, remember, I see God working in the midst of this as well. So that gave me some more hope. So working towards things. So while I'm staying at the transitional house, I went back to school. Like I said, I didn't get to take the GED school. What happened was I came across a college called Toro College. Some of you may have graduated from Toro College or maybe students. And because they have campuses all over the states. Toro College was such a blessing because you can earn your GED while taking college courses. So that's exactly what I did. And so I enrolled in a human services class for children and families. And you earn your GED. So that's a 4-year degree. But after like a year and change, when I got a certain amount of credits, the state of Albany, New York mailed me my GED. You don't understand. I felt like I was getting my life back. That's why I have this whole podcast called Get Your Life Back. Because I know what it is to pick up the pieces of your life to get your life back on track and actually go in the direction that God had already ordained for you, but you just didn't know, right? Because part of this whole process is finding out who I am, finding out my identity and my identity in Christ as well. So I did all of that. So I got my GED. I kept going. I said, I'm going to go I got my associate's degree. And guess what? I went to the graduation. Yes, I did. Walk across that stage. I was elated. Then I kept going another 2 years, got my bachelor's degree. Okay, so now I got a bachelor's degree in human services with a concentration on children and families. I'm like, okay, all right, Cheryl, you got some education going on there. Then I started working in the field. I was getting all my internships. I'm still working as a assistant director in the after school program. So that was still a blessing. And I'm working part-time in a salon. Come on, somebody, because remember, I got my cosmetology license and now I'm working in that area. I got assistant director, I got a leadership position. So, I mean, with that was like hope and light. God, you're with me. You're with me. Your promises are yay and not, they yay. It's not yay and nay. When God give you a promise, whenever he speaks something over your life, is going to come to pass unless you sabotage it by being disobedient and getting off the path. Because again, God is not a bully. So he don't make us do anything. He'll set out a path and give us instructions and directions on how to follow it. And he'll even encourage us along the way. But it's up to us. He gives us a volitional will to follow him. Okay, so just want to plug that in there for a moment. So I'm seeing the path cut out. I'm like, okay, God, I'm growing in ministry. I'm getting licensed, all these things to preach and everything. So I said, you know what? I think I'm big and bad enough to go to graduate school. Wanted to do therapy. I enrolled in Fordham University, which is a great university, very reputable school. I went to Fordham University for social sciences with I didn't get to do the degree. I'm gonna get to that in a moment. But it was a 3-year program I enrolled in for a clinical master's social work. So that's why I enrolled in. But I only did about 2 years because things was getting hard, right? I'm still struggling. I'm not making a lot of money. After school program is only 4 to 5 hours a day. I'm working in a salon. You know, like I said, the clientele always go up and down. Things are still tight. I'm living in New York, okay? Don't forget about that. Things are getting real tight. So, what happened? I found myself needing another place to stay, and I wanted to go closer. I was fine with the church, but it was too far. Everything I doing was like maybe 35 minutes away. So again, I was staying at a friend's house. Finally, one of my friends offered me the opportunity to stay with them. And then my girlfriend, one of my besties, her mom said that she'd been praying because she had lost her husband. She had this big house to herself, nice home, nice neighborhood. She said she had been praying, and she came over to me one day in church. We had a cafeteria, and she asked me would me and my daughter like to stay with her. And I'm finishing up school. So before I graduated, I was still living with her. That was a blessing. So God was providing. So I know him to be a provider. Okay, let me just get along with this story. So I went to graduate school. I was finishing up. I did about the 2 years. Like I said, things got really tight. It started to become a struggle because I'm trying to take care of her, make sure my daughter is well. I'm working. I'm doing internship. It was a lot on my plate. It got very heavy, and my grades started to drop. So I had to make a decision. I said, I know I'm not going to do well the next class. I can already see. I done went from B plus to B minus to C. One of my classes was like a B, and one was like a C plus or B, whatever. But I know that at that point, they said going forward, I would have to make sure all of my classes were B plus or higher. And I knew it was going to be tight because I knew all the strain and stress that I was dealing with. So what I did was I found out about Liberty University online. I'm like, okay, God, I got all these credits in the human services field and in counseling and social work. I got to get a master's. So I enrolled. I found out about Liberty University through a friend of mine who was also trying to go back to school as well. We both had dropped out, but she got her GED earlier than I did. So I enrolled in Liberty University online with a master's for human services counseling. So I got to focus on counseling and got to stay in this discipline in this industry that I already started out. I graduated. I went to the graduation in Virginia. My family came. It was a blessing. It was beautiful. During this course of time, I started making more money. So I started working in the field. Now that was a whole nother blessing. We'll talk about that another time. But God opened up a door for me to work for this brain surgeon doctor. He had a mental health agency where he would help patients who had traumatic brain disorders, traumatic brain injuries, TBIs. And he saw my resume. I would have never applied for this job because when I looked at the job description, it said they're looking for licensed clinical therapists, and I'm like, okay, I don't have the license. I have the master's. I have some experience, by the way, because I also have worked at another agency where I was doing intensive and home counseling within the home in New York. And so he saw my resume. He was very impressed. He called me and he told me to tweak my resume because he can't make the final decision. He liked me already. He liked my resume, my experience, but it's not left up to him. He have to submit it to the board. He gave me God is so good. He gave me some strategies. He said, I can see that you have experience even working within your church doing type of pastoral counseling and transitional counseling, because again, people saying in transitional house, hello, they're transitioning. They're there for a temporary time. I got to minister and counsel those people using Christian focused counseling. So he said, just go in your resume and change the word to you also did transitional housing as well. He said, because they're looking for specific keywords. Let me tell you something. I said, God, you in the midst. This doctor is giving me strategies because he wanted to hire me. He wanted to make sure my resume would be accepted and everybody across the board would agree. Did exactly what he said, got the job. Now I'm in New York. So he was paying me $30 an hour at that time. And then I found out about another agency a little bit after I started working there. So I started working for both agencies, and the other agency was paying me $42 an hour. So I'm starting to make a little bit more money. And it was contract work. So now I can afford my own apartment. So now I'm moving into my own apartment. So I'm like, okay, I'm getting back on track. Cheryl is getting her life back. That was such a blessing. God, and again, I started moving up in ministry from licensing to ordination to, okay, as an evangelist and a pastor, because I was associate pastor at the church I told you about with the bishop and his wife for maybe about 6 or 7 years. And I was doing a lot of work out there, and I was also going to the other church as well, because their church services in the afternoon. So I would go in the morning and serve at one church, and then I would go help them at the outreach ministry in the afternoon to help them. It's just her and her husband, and they feeding people and clothing people and housing people. And so I just thank God for giving me the opportunity to be able to do outreach. I have such a love to help people, and I've been there. God is so awesome, because let me back up. Even when I was staying at the transitional housing, I said, God, this remind me of Ezekiel. He had to sit where the people sat in order for his ministry to even become more effective and more reaching out to other people. He had to sit in a valley of dry bones and speak life. He said, speak to the dry bones. He had to speak life to the children of Israel who've been through persecution. They've been exiled. They've been enslaved. They went through all these things, and he had to speak among them. So I looked at that situation as I'm sitting in the midst of other people who are homeless, okay? And I know that part of that experience, it enhanced my ministry even more. And I was already a person of empathy, but I became more empathic. Never was judgmental, but that experience kept me from even trying to get judgmental, because you never know what's going to happen to you in life, like the pandemic coming. Folks losing their homes. You never know what's going to happen. I kept God first. It was all this happened by faith. So, okay, so now I got the master's degree. I'm in my own apartment. I'm moving up in ministry. I always had a desire to go to seminary. So now I'm like, I got my associates, my bachelor's, I got a master's, but now I can go to seminary and get another master's. So I have two masters now. I have one from seminary at Liberty University, Divinity School. I got to finish that within 2 years. And I'm like, okay, God, but when I look back over my life, I said, you done took me, I went through all these, and I left out some stuff, but I just want to give you the meat. I went through all these transitions with God, with community, because being part of a church is awesome, because you got community, you have support. I got new friends. I developed some nice, close relationships for life. Even though I live in Georgia now, still got my sisters who still live in New York, and then other ones who spread all across the states. Some of my besties, they live in North Carolina. I'm here in Georgia, some in New York. I mean, so you just never know what God has for you. So I am here to encourage you. I wanted to share my story of going from homelessness to purpose and seeing God's hand in the midst of it. And when you see God's hand in the midst of it, again, the mindset I had was, I know I'm here right now, but God is taking me somewhere. So I'm not going to fret. Okay? I'm not going to fret. I'm not going to give up. And then because I have community and I have faith and I have hope and I see the hand of God in the midst of it all, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep speaking life to my own self. I'm going to keep speaking against any self-defeated thoughts. The Bible tells us to cast down every high imagination and every high thought that exalts itself against the knowledge of God, against what I know about God, and bring every negative thought into the captivity of Christ until the obedience of Christ in me is fulfilled. So I know I had a purpose to fulfill. I had to shut down those voices. I had to shut down the naysayers as well. Oh, no, 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 no. If somebody tried to encourage me to stop school and maybe, no, 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 no. God said I'll open up the door and I'm going to keep going. That is not what he told me. So come on now, my confidence was building up. My assertiveness was building. And I was like, oh no, because God said he has opened up a door for me to walk through. He didn't tell me to quit, and I'm not quitting, and I'm still not quitting. There are moments where I get discouraged about some things. I'm trying to get businesses to grow and do this and that, and I'm not where I feel like I should be, but I've also got to do great way, and I'm still working on those things, because you have highs and lows. And if you are an entrepreneur at heart, that's why they say an entrepreneur is not for the weak, because We will push and push and push when things look hard, when it looks like we should give up, when people are saying, I think you should put that to the side now. You're like, I can't, because naturally, oh my God, the way we're built, it's like we have to be doing something. If this don't work out, then we're going to go try to do something else. That's the way we are wired. Entrepreneurs, a true entrepreneur is wired that way. Even if you're working at a 9 to 5, there's a part of you that is industrial, inventive, visionary, and you can't see yourself content just being over here when you have so much in your hands and so much inside of your belly and your spirit, and you have to get it out. And you also enjoy the flexibility. You enjoy financial freedom. You enjoy, even if you're working towards it and you never get to like, I make it 8 9. It's not about that. It's about doing what you love to do and getting paid for it at the same time. So even in I was strategic even in my career jobs, right? Because I'm doing something I love to do. I love coaching. I love counseling. Everything is aligned together. Ministry is aligned with my natural purpose in life. Everything it correlates. And so because I see that, I'm telling you, God will take you that way, and you can see the handwriting on the wall, and you'll start to see clearly if you follow the path. God will start unfolding things. You'll start getting revelation. You start, okay, God, I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing. Okay, I'm not going to let anybody get in my way. I don't have time for distractions. I'm going to keep it moving. I'm going to keep it moving. I'm going to start walking too, because I came out here to exercise and to walk. But I want that to encourage somebody today. I didn't mean to go that long. I'm like trying to recover memory of things while I'm trying to tell you the story. But please, if you can relate to the story, I want to encourage. And if you are in a situation right now where you are going through your own transition, maybe you are homeless, maybe you're in a shelter, maybe you're in a transitional house, maybe you're sleeping on somebody else's couch like I did, or maybe just having a real tough time. Maybe you went through a divorce. Or maybe you in a situation you trying to find out who you are. What's your strength? What is my purpose, God? What is my identity? Maybe you having an identity crisis. The first thing I'm gonna tell you is to try God. Try God. Seek seek ye first the kingdom of God and all of his righteousness, and everything you need will be added unto you. Sharing my story was to show you how everything I needed and desire was added unto me. God opened up doors. God provided. God healed me emotionally after my divorce. Yes. And my daughter. God provided to the point where I said, God, I want my daughter to be able to go to school and go to college. And she did. She did that. That was another prayer that was answered. Oh my gosh, she got to go to a high school of her dreams, as far as going to a performing arts high school, because she is an actress, a singer, and a dancer. And I prayed for that. So by this time, I'm like, God, you promised. God, you said, right? Because your faith gets stronger when you go through these trials. And even the Bible says through every trial we learn. So I've learned a lot of lessons, and I got strength for things that I've gone through. So I was ready to deal with some other giants on another level, other things you got to pray for, other mountains that needed to be moved. But I had a strategy, and it's like, well, prayer still works. Now, a season may look different. Another trial, tribulation may look different. It may look like hell, right? But you go back to what you know, even through the crying, through the tears, through the moments, again, feeling discouraged and wanting to give up. It brings me back to my default strategy, which is prayer, which is community, reaching out. Don't keep your mouth shut when you have a need. Don't be full of pride when you have a need, because a lot of times that will hold you back. That will hold you back and self-sabotage the situation when the door's open, because you fearful or you prideful or you worrying about what people think. I kept my eyes fixed on my purpose and my goal, because I started seeing clearly now where God is leading me and where he's taking me and what he's doing in my life. And so that kept me on the path, because I said, no, I got to get my life back. Oh, no, 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 no. So get your life back, okay? Stay on the path. Get some people in your life who are cheerleaders. They see you, and they're going to be accountability partners to you, because they want to make sure you make it too. They want to make sure you make it. They invest in you. People will come. Oh my God, I can stay up here forever. People, when they see you and believe in you, people will invest time, money in you. Oh my God, I had so much favor over my life, years and years and years. I can see God's hand. It keeps me humble, because I know it wasn't just me. It was community. God used other people to bless me through word. So I'm hoping right now I'm helping somebody through this word. People will help you through deed. People will give to you. The Bible says he will bless us, pressed down, shaken together, and running over shall men give into our bosom. We can give us that we're so full. We got enough to give to somebody. Come on, somebody, give to somebody else. And so living it and experiencing is nothing like it because it's real. So I can share with you not from somebody else's story. It is great that I can share with you from my story, and that you get blessed and you be inspired and you get motivated. And if you need to hear this again, then hit the rewind button and play it again once it's posted, okay? Look through, follow this channel. Let me say that my channel is dedicated to helping people break through barriers and propel into their purpose. That is my subtitle, right? This is Get Your Life Back with Cheryl, okay? Now, God is the ultimate one. I'm just saying. I'm just here to help give you some life skills and tools and strategies, help you to heal emotionally. I like to talk about emotional wellness. I like to talk about living in your purpose and in your passion, because I already know for a fact that most people who operate in their purpose and passion are the happiest people on the earth, because they're doing what they love to do. They're doing what they have a passion to do. Even if the passion and purpose is to make money and not be broke and poor again and want to give to other people. They want to be an entrepreneur, whatever the business is. It's still a passion. The passion is they want to be an entrepreneur. They want to have freedom. They want to have different streams of income. They're passionate about that life, okay? And so it don't have to be a thing that you do. It just can be the lifestyle of being an entrepreneur. You're passionate about it. And you won't give up. You're going to keep pushing. This fail, you're going to open up something else. You're going to start something else. Or you're going to rebuild. Or you're going to repurpose. Or you're going to rebrand. So a lot of you are in the season of rebranding your life, okay? And so do it. Do it, do it, do it. And only have people in your life who are yay sayers, not naysayers, okay? Okay, I'm getting off this thing. I got a path to walk down now. And then I might walk back down. There's a whole nother path going that direction, because I know you don't want to stay up here with me while I'm walking. Anyway, thank you for tuning in. Oh, I hope this was a blessing to somebody. Somebody pick up what I put down. Take it to heart. Embrace it. I saw these creatures out here, these squirrels. Okay, guys, love you so much. You take care, okay? Bye-bye. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, comment. Please, I can't wait to read your comments because I'm walking. I was sitting for a moment, but now I got to keep it going. Let me see. Somebody said, okay, I said that. I saw that person already. Oh, somebody came in from Pakistan. What else? And I see some hellos. Awesome, awesome. What is the channel about? I already explained that, so that is good. All right, guys. All right, be a blessing to other people. Bye-bye.